Welcome everybody. So I'm going to do IPv6 eBGP from scratch. There's no IP addresses on there. All right, there's nothing on there. I just connected the routers and I booted them up. That's it. We're gonna take our time. We're gonna take our time and we're gonna go through this. All right, and make it work. And the reason that I'm doing it because I'm just friggin' tired of people not doing IPv6. All right, so get with it. Now, one thing I want you to notice before we start the configuration, take a look at that prefix length. It's 126. Also, people have been telling me, hey, Laz, why are we using a 64? We have 340 undecillion addresses. I agree that if you're going to use point-to-point connections, if you want to save IP addresses, since we're doing interplanetary communication, okay, we can go ahead and use a larger prefix length than 64. Now, long ago, back the galaxy far, far away, that IPv6, when it began, they said if you don't know what the hell you're doing in IPv6, use a 64. All right, that's what they said. So that's why everybody uses a 64. Okay, but you need to realize that where you see that 0000, 1000, 2000, yeah, that's for subnetting. If you have something greater than a 64, you're not dealing with your subnets. You can subnet, as a matter of fact. You're dealing with the interface ID portion of the address. Okay? You're dealing with the the interface ID portion of the address. So there, you get, when you're doing prefix length, according to certain websites, to certain places that I've researched, they say, well, you can use any number you want from 0 to 128. Or from, what is it? From 0 to 128. Okay. Even though that this is the IANA, the 2001, it's a global address, the 3200 is your ISP, and the beef, right, is your company. But you can use something shorter than a 48. Okay, whatever. All right, maybe if you're doing unique local addresses internally inside your company, then maybe you can do that. Okay, but now if you're doing something global, all right, now if you're doing something global, well, whatever. Point is, I'm using a 126. I'm using a 126, so we don't waste that many IP addresses. All right, and again, that same webpage I went to lets you know that what they like to do, all right, in IPv6 is increment by 4. So your prefix length, let's say you start at 4 or 0, 4, then 8, then 12, then 16, then 20, then 24, and so forth. All right, all the way to get to 128. So I just don't follow rules. So 126. Okay, I'm using a 126. So we're going to do this. Now, I am going to do not a whole bunch of basic. I'm just going to do 2 little basic housekeeping commands. 2. One is no IP domain -lookup. And the other one is going the line. I'm going to do logging synchronous. Oh my God. Logging synchronous level all. So my typing doesn't get interrupted. Okay? Basically. So when something pops up from the router, say, hey, this happened. It doesn't interrupt what I'm typing. Okay? Some of you out there say, just turn off logging. Let's not do that. All right, so let's go ahead. We're in router 1, enable, config T. We're going to give it a host name, okay? Host name, R1. Again, we're going to take our time. I'm not in a hurry. All right, we're going to do the IP domain, no IP domain -lookup. And the reason we do this, no IP domain -lookup, because this command is usually on. If you're not using DNS server, you're not using DNS service, or a server, or regardless, same thing. Okay, if you do a typo, which I am most famous for, okay, it's gonna think that you're trying to resolve a host, a name, right? So it's going to go out there and broadcast 255, looking for DNS, and you're going to sit there like an idiot, especially with these iOSs and these simulators, emulators. Yeah, because you can't do it in CML2. You can't do control. You can't do break commands. Control C, Control Shift 6, Control Pause Break. Don't let you do it. All right, you're gonna be sitting there. Okay, let's wait till he finishes the timeout. All right, so type that so that doesn't happen. Okay, not a big deal. In the field or not, but especially if you're doing a lab and you want to get this done, you know, do it. Then you go to your line count 0 because that's how you're in. Okay, and you're gonna say login synchronous level, and let me do the CSS. I put a question mark there on purpose. 0 through 7, the severity levels. Okay, the severity levels. Okay, it says severity level, lower number for higher severity levels. Means 0 is critical. You're not coming back from it. You just crash the whole freaking network. I mean, I don't know. So what do? Oh, I want to know everything that's going on. I want to know. I want to know. And then obviously take a look at it. But again, this is a lab. All right, but you want to do that. You want to do that. But you can't do that in the packet tracer. In the packet tracer, you can do is login synchronous. Here, this is even G with this iOS, you can do that. All right, exit out. So before we start putting IP addresses in all good thing, remember IPv6 unicast routing. That's the command that you need to type when you're going to do IPv6. Many different things happen when you turn that on. All right. If you do not turn on IPv6 unicast routing, yes, you will not route. Yes, you will not be able to work with EUI64 if you want to assign Slack to an IP address on a PC. Okay. Because you will not get that multicast address FF02::. I'm sorry, FF02::2. You won't get it. The all routers address. It's not going to happen. And there's more and more and more things that'll happen. Okay, so type IPv6 unicast routing. Okay, it's not just about routing. So let's put in IP addresses, shall we? Interface G0/1. And if you know how to do this portion, you can fast forward through the video and get to the portion that you need. That's what I do. IPv6 address 2001 3200 beef ::1. Let's see. Oh, they took it. No shot. They're independent of each other. Once you go over 64, you're in the interface ID. All right, do WR. Cool. All right. Let's take a look at it. Show IPv6 in brief. There it is. 2001, 3200 beef : Why : Did I put 0? Sure, it truncated it. : 1. But I like visualizing things. So I put little zeros. You see what it did? And there's your link local. Very important. Don't block that address. Okay? You'll regret it. Enable config T. Config T. Host name R1. R2, sorry. No IP domain -lookup. All right. Line con 0 login synchronous level all. Yes, I love to tab. That's why I can't even spell sometimes anymore. Interface. Did I put IPv6 unicast routing? Of course not. IPv6. And if you did and you do it again, so what? IPv6 unicast routing. You're not going to break anything. All right, so do it again. Just to make sure, because it needs to be on. So interface G0/2. All right, here we go. IPv6. Oh, what is this lowercase stuff? I have an ergonomic keyboard. It's royal pain. I gotta get another keyboard. Oh my God. IPv6 address 2001 3200 beef 0000 : 2/126. Awesome. No shot. Now let's just test it. All right, let's just test it. Do ping Hey, we got connectivity. How about that? Interface G0/1, IPv6 address 2001 3200 beef. There's 1000. It's not really 1000. It's 1000 hex numbers, but you know, say it quickly. 1000 and 12. It's gonna be 12 all the way through. /126. Did it take it? No overlapping. Because we're in a different network. We're in a different subnet. No shots. DWR. Can't ping anybody on this side because we haven't done router 3 yet. But let's take a look at the IP addresses, shall we? I'm talking like a PhD now. Do show IP v6 in brief. FE80, there's a 2001 1000, right? There it is, 1. And then the other one is beef. See how I truncated it? Yes. I remember somebody one time, several years ago, told me, PhD, of course I have a PhD. That means I got street cred. Really? But you can't create a course to save your life. All right. Host name, R3. Whatever. Then we got IPv6. Oh no. Let's do it like we've been doing it. Let's be consistent. IP domain, -lookup, line con 0, login, synchronous, level, all. And we got int G0/2. All right. IPv6 address 2001 3200 beef 1000 : 2 126. No shode. Let's ping, shall we? Let's wait a little bit. Let's get some feedback. There we go. See, it doesn't interrupt my typing. I'm still on my prompt. Do ping. And lo and behold. Interface G0/1. IPv6 address 2001 3200 beef 2000 : 1 with a 126. Yeah. No. Wrong, genius. No, I'm right. It's 2000. Sorry. The other one was 1000. Yeah, here's 1000. I forgot, you know. The brain slipping. That's why I cut off the hair, because I think the hair was getting in the way. Now there was not much hair to begin with, but hey. Let's take a look at it. Do show IPv6 in brief. Excuse me. Do show IPv6 in brief. Cool. There is our 2001. There is our 1002. We pinged 1001. And then we go to our last router. Router 4. All right. Let's do it to it, man. Config T, host name, R4. And we'll do no IP domain -lookup. That's right. We don't get interrupted. Line con 0. Login. Synchronous. Level. All. Cool. IPv6. Oh, did I do that on the other one? IPv6 unicast routing. Let me finish this and I'll check on router 3 real quick. I'm just going to retype it again. I don't care. But I'll show you where you can check. You know, I'll give you that. There's one command that you can see if it's besides show start, where you can go ahead and look at it. And let's go ahead and see here. Interface G02. IPv6 address 2001 3200 beef 2000 2/126, enter, no shut, no shut a, awesome, save it, let it come back with, which it did. All right, so I'm gonna ping, let's get this right here, and just do one. All right, up arrow again. Can I do Control A? Of course not. Oh, there we go. 2000:1. Just backspace. And type do. And there we go. So let's go to router 3. And I'm just going to type conft. Oh, I said I was going to show you. Yeah. So you can say show IPv6. Either interface really. Interface G0/2. IPv6 enabled and local address, no virtual, global unicast addresses, So you got this guy. All right. This is an all routers solicited address. Okay. So I'm sorry. Here it is. Wrong one. Oh no, it's not. It's not there. How about that? All right, so we're gonna do config t IPv6 unicast routing. Okay, let's type that command again. Where was I when I typed it? I was in privilege mode. There it is. Maybe because it's going point to point. It's not going to a LAN, so you're not gonna see that. Oh no, there it is. There it is. So if that's not there, now was it there before? I don't know. But anyway, you type it again, or you can check. You can type this command. Where is it? Here it is. You can type this command right here. All right. So you can look for that FF02::2. If it's not there, you didn't type IPv6 unicast routing. All right. So we got our IPv6 addresses in there, all right? And they're using 126s. We can ping from segment to segment, right? With intra between the two routers. So now what we're going to do is that we're going to configure is eBGP. Why eBGP? Because eBGP has really no limitations. eBGP is what's really used on the internet. I'm not gonna, because if we use iBGP, then it can't go beyond a certain point due to the fact that there are RFC rules that if you learn a destination network from another iBGP, that router that learned it from an iBGP can't send it to another iBGP. It's an RFC, okay? Doesn't do that. So then you gotta get into route reflectors or run an IGP or static routes or whatever the case may be to get information across, okay? So we're not going to do that. This is straight up eBGP. You can just notice the fact that we're running different autonomous systems. Cool? All right. So config t, router, BGP. Now it's IPv6 BGP. Router BGP 65/100. Okay. Now it is a good idea. Look what it says. This is a pure IPv6 BGP. And this same message will come back in OSPF if it's pure IPv6, not dual stack, right, where you have an IP4 address in there. It's asking you, can you please pick a router ID for me because I can't pick one myself. And regardless, either or, you should give it its own, everything has to be unique router ID. That's how the router identifies itself. But in BGP, especially in BGP, if you don't assign a router ID and later on they say, hey, put some router IDs on there, will you? Then your interfaces will flip. All right, they'll turn on, they'll go down, then come right back up. So put one on from the get-go. So I'm just going to use, it's in 32-bit format. So you go BGP, router ID, and it's in 32-bit format. Okay. So we're going to do 32-bit format. This is, we'll do it like, okay, 192.168.1.1. We'll do that. Since you're putting that IP address there, okay, in the category of a router ID, it's not going to interfere with your local interfaces or any other interfaces that you have that IP address in. All right, so we have this. Now we have a BGP router ID. The next thing that we're going to do is that we're going to peer with our neighbor. All right, so we're going to do neighbor 2001 3200 beef visualization purposes. It's 2, isn't it? 1 2 1 2 1 2. Made it simple, and then has a remote AS, and I kind of messed that up a little bit. Let me go here to make it make more sense. Sorry about that. So used to doing other things that just didn't make sense there. Sorry. There we go. Now we're cooking with gas. Okay. All right. So remote AS is 65200. All right. Cool. Now there is not. You don't go under the interface. You don't put network statements here. Okay. You're going to go into the address family for IPv6. So you're going to say address family IPv6 unicast. What are you going to do? Well, the first thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to use BGP as a routing protocol. I'm going to advertise the networks. So I'm going to do that. Network. It's going to be 2001 colon 3200 colon beef, and then 1234 colon slash 126, and then I'm going to say neighbor. Hey neighbor. And I'm going to activate the neighbor. You have to do it like that. Okay? We don't got any other peering. We don't got any other networks. That's it. So we'll do WR. If you want to look at this, make sure you're in lowercase. Learn that the hard way. Show run pipe section BGP. So you can take a look at it. All right. So you can see you have your autonomous system, you got your router ID, you got your neighbor. All right. In address family, it will say that no neighbor, whatever. But for address family IPv6, you got neighbor. You see it truncates it and it's activated. Cool. And here's your network statement right here. Awesome. Let's go to router 2. So we'll do G02 first. So we want to see what? That up, right? We want to see it go up. All right. Let's find out. I hate typing in lowercase. Conf T. All right, so router BGP 65200. Yeah. There we go. So BGP router ID 192.168.2.2. Make it make sense. Be consistent as you go across. People are like, oh, this is going to be 1.1 and this is going to be 172. It could be whatever you want. But make it make sense. This is your network and you need to know your network. Okay? Then we say neighbor. We go to the left. We're going back to router 1. Neighbor 2001 3200 beef 1234 colon 1 remote AS 65100. All right, cool. Now I need to go into the address family. I'm not going to wait for the up message because sometimes it does it quick. Sometimes it takes its sweet time because remember, we got to activate the neighbor. So then we do address family for IPv6 unicast. We're going to do 2 networks because I do that first because I'll forget. 2001 and I got to go back. All right. And I want to take my time in doing this. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you guys see what I'm doing, putting in the networks. All right, I'm just going to up arrow, and then it's 1,000. Right, let's work smarter, not harder. And then we do neighbor. Who's our neighbor? He's our neighbor. Oh, wait a minute, that's 2. Just exactly that. Boom. And then we're going to say activate UWR. Now we should be getting an up Should be getting it up sometime this century. All right, we still need it. Nope, then nothing happened. Oh, oh, there it is. It came up. I forgot to do. All right, so let me go back. Sorry, and let me do the other neighbor, which is going to 65,300. I should have done that from the get-go, but you know, I want to do that side first and show you that it'll come up. So let's do the other side. So I exit it out of AFI, right? The address family. Went back under router configuration mode for BGP 65200, and now I'm going to say neighbor 2001 colon 3200 colon beef colon 1000 colon 2, and then remote AS is 65300. All right. All I gotta do is go into address family IPv6 unicast, and then just activate the neighbor. So I already done both networks. So it's my buddy over here, and then just activate. Cool. So far so good. So far so good. All right, let's go to router 3, and this time we'll do them both together. All right, so I don't want to cause any confusion. But again, pause the video, go to where you need to go. You know, if you need the whole thing, then you do the whole thing. And leave comments. Subscribe to the channel and leave comments. Like, don't like, that's all good. All right, I need to know. Where are we? Router 3. Okay. Router BGP 65300. All right. And then please give me a router ID. Not a problem, I got you. Router ID 192.168.3.3. Okay. And now we're gonna do neighbor to the left, 3200 beef 1000 colon 1 remote AS is 65200. Right, then we got a neighbor to the other side, don't we? That's up arrow. That's going to be 400, and then it's going to be 2000. It's going to be 2, and it's going to be 2000. Yeah. Why didn't put 2? There you go. 2002. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So neighbor remote AS. Neighbor is 1001 to the left. Just want to make sure. 65200. And then neighbor 2002 65400. All right, we're good. So let's go inside the address family for IPv6 unicast. Outstanding. The networks are 2001 3200 beef 1000 colon /126 up arrow, and then we got the 2000 going on. Yeah. Yep. And then we're going to activate both neighbors. So we'll first activate the neighbor to the left. So we do neighbor to the left, activate, and then neighbor to the right. Got it up. Good. There we go. Activate. You know, there's a cartoon I used to watch as a kid. It was the Super Friends, right? It was the Super Friends. And the Super Friends, they had the Wonder Twins, like aliens or something. You know, they look human, but, you know, pointy ears, Mr. Spock looking type. And they would activate their powers, which are stupid powers. They're going to do touch knuckles and say, Wonder Twin powers activate. And the female will turn to a gorilla, something more useful, or gorilla, an eagle, or something to that effect, something more powerful. The guy would turn into a pail of water or a pool of water, or I don't know. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. So when I say activate, that triggers me back to those times. All right. Router BGP, just wanted to share. 65400. There we go. BGP router ID 192.168.4.4. Okay, and then we're gonna do neighbor. We only got one neighbor. 2001. It's not that sad. One neighbor. Poor guy. All right. 3200 beef 2000 colon 2 slash 126. Oh, doing the wrong thing there, Laz. What are you doing? What are you doing, bro? All right. Remote AS. Sorry. Thinking ahead. 65300. What? Can I come? Oh yeah. And I'm using 2. See, the gray matter is leaving. Okay. There you go. You cannot be your own neighbor. All right. So 2001, meaning you got to use this guy. You can't say, hey, neighbor, and then put a 2 on there. That's you. Yeah, it doesn't work that way. And then, so we got our neighbors. So we go to the address family, IPv6, unicast. All right. And then network. Let's do the network statement first, like we've been doing. 2001, colon, 3200, colon, beef, 2000, colon, slash 126. And then we do activate our neighbor. Let's copy paste. It's our friend. And then we do activate. What? Specify remote AS or peer group command first, which I did. 2001 3200 beef 2000 colon 2 remote AS that. So all right, so let's do this. And let's take a look, right? Things like this happen, and it's good that it happens. It's good because that makes you look, makes you troubleshoot. Show run pipe section BGP. Let's see what we got going on here, boys and girls. All right, so we got a neighbor, which is 2001. There it is right there, neighbor 65300. Obviously, I'll say that. Then we say network, right? It didn't take what I asked. So 2001 3200 beef 2000. 2001 3200 beef 2000. It is colon 1. And let's go to router 4 just in case. It should have given me an error. That's not the neighbor. But I'm going to check it out anyway. Because, you know, gotta be thorough. Let's do a show IPv6 in brief. All right. And G01. 2001 3200 beef 2000 colon 1. Yeah, so let's go to 4, back to 4, and that's exactly what I got. All right, so let's try that address family again. Since I made that mistake earlier, I don't know, maybe BGP is like, huh, what happened? Config T, or it could be me. I like to think it's more the router than me, but hey, router BGP 65 400, and then we do address family IPv6 unicast. All right, so we do neighbor 2001. I'm going to type it out. 3200 beef 2000 colon 1 activate. Okay, so maybe I did a typo. I don't know. Do WR. And we got it up. So how do you verify that? Now I'm going to type this command. Will probably tell me, hey, that's not the command you type. Watch. Show IPv6. No. Show. What is it? Show BGP IPv6. They want you to type this. Unicast summary. They want you to type that. If not, I'll tell you no. So when you're looking at this, what you want to do is take your eyes and go straight over here. This side. If you see idle or active underneath the state, there's an issue. You did a bad IP, you did something wrong. It's your configuration, okay? And you see the prefixes received. That's what you want to see. So that's a good thing. So another way that you can look at it, very simple, looking at the global routing table, show IP v6 route. Several ways you can do this, okay? And then you can see that you see 2001 3200 all zeros, the 126. So if you wanted to, let's say, ping 2001, and let's just ping it the way it is like that, 3200 00. Ooh, one too many zeros. Colon, no, the colon, no, it's 3200 beef, colon, 1, enter, and you can ping. But when you're doing BGP, you're more, you're gonna be 99% of the time inside the BGP table. So you do show IPv6 BGP. Oh, show what? Invalid input detected. Show. Just talking about what is show BGP IPv6. Okay. Sorry. All right. So here, remember this. The greater than symbol means best, and then the asterisk means valid. So to get to this particular network, the best valid path is through your next hop, which is, that's your next hop. That's your next hop, which is this neighbor. And you see that you're not using a wait, you're using an autonomous system path length. Okay, it'll show you, hey, you got to go through the 300, you got to go to the 200, and then the 100. All right. The longer the autonomous system path length to get to a particular network, it'll always choose, if your topology plays into that, it'll choose the lower autonomous system path, or the less number of autonomous systems. Here, it's got no choice. You got a straight line. So to get to the 1000, which is this one, same next hop address, you only got to go through one autonomous system. To go to the 2000, now this is no longer, this is just valid, which makes sense. You just got to go to the 300, right? That's what it says here. You got to go to a 300. But this is the best valid path. And why? Because this means what? All zeros. And if you're using all zeros, means you're directly connected to it, which you are right here. You're directly connected to it. So that's the best way to go. And then it'll use the weight attribute. Oh, these are your attributes, right? The med, the local preference, the weight, and the path. So this is the default weight. The higher the weight, the better. Okay. So there is what it's using. So this is a very simple, straightforward IPv6 eBGP. This is something that you'll see in your CCNP, your core, and in RC. So no big deal. And we're using a 126, not to waste 18 quintillion or 15 quintillion IP addresses per subnet. Okay, so there you go. All right, a simple, straightforward, using a different prefix length, using eBGP. eBGP, which means that the TTL, it's important that the TTL is 1. So that's why you have to go to the next router. Is 1. The TTL is 1. Where iBGP, it can go up to 255. Okay? Keep that in mind. All right? So if you have questions, comments, concerns, issues, whatever, put it in the comments. Okay? Subscribe, hit the notification bell so you get notified, all that good stuff. You know what to do. All right? I'll see you in the next one.